Welcome. It's the Going On Daily Live morning show. Yay! Got a lot of energy going on right now. We're going to bring you a lot of stories, so you're going to want to listen up and be entertained. I am so happy right now because this is my first Saturday show. Now, hopefully you've seen me before, but this is my first time. I'm working with Captain Ron.
That's right.
And for the first time, ladies and gentlemen, let me proudly introduce our new friend, Lana Williams.
All right.
Nice to be here.
This is
It is
exciting,
Lena.
Ira.
That's okay.
Lana, why don't you tell us a little something about yourself?
Sure. It is Lena. It's pronounced Lena.
Oh, I'm
although it
sorry.
doesn't-
Lena.
It's okay. It's okay.
This is my first time meeting you. So.
I know. So no, everybody gets that confused, and that doesn't really bother me. But I just like to let people know. But yeah. So let's see. I've had 5 lives. I've been a DJ for almost 40 years. I do have my own podcast that I do with a friend of mine who's up in
What is it? What's the name?
Massachusetts. So it's called Love and Life with Lena and Dave, and our website is www.lenaanddave.com. And we're pretty much everywhere. YouTube, everything, all the platforms, all the media accounts, all that fun stuff, IG, Facebook. But it's just me. I'm kind of like a Rhode Islander.
That's right, fellow Rhode
And
Islander.
This picture
now
behind
we're
me
outnumbered.
is in the woods with my dogs. So go ahead, knock yourself out. Sorry.
Okay. Well, before we begin the show, we want people to know how to share. We're like Sesame Street that way. Everybody needs to know how to share. So let's see. Captain Ron, you're going to put up, if you're watching us on our socials, let's start with Facebook. All right? Everybody loves Facebook.
Yeah, let's see. Let's do
There
that
we
right
go.
there.
Oh, look at that. Ron's got new graphics. So for Facebook, you go to Facebook at RI Broadcasting. And of course, for Twitch, there's Twitch at RI_broadcasting. For TikTok, you go to TikTok at RI Broadcasting. And for you YouTubers, go to YouTube at, now this one's different, spell it out, Rhode Island Broadcasting. And if you're really a super fan and you love us and you want to support us, we want you to go to Patreon. You go to Patreon at RI Broadcasting. Ron's showing the fabulous mug. And that's not the only thing. There's other merch items there. You're going to love it. You're going to want to support us. So you help us out. But right now, like I said, it's Saturday, April 5th. And here's what we want you to know today, starting off with the police blotter from Captain Ron.
Oh, this is a great one. I love it. And I just dropped my pen. That's gone now. There's 3 stories actually. Ooh. I mean, we're familiar with some of these people, right? Kim Delaney, Russell Brand. Remember him? It feels like it was so long ago he was popular, but it was in the 2000s. It was like 2012. I feel like he's been around forever. But he's only like 46, 49 years old, something like that.
Yeah.
He's in a little hot water, as well as Paul Schrader, which people might not know him by name, but he is responsible for Taxi Driver, American Gigolo, and Raging Bull.
Wow.
Director and screenwriter, right? So I guess we'll start off with last Saturday. Kim Delaney was arrested. It was a felony arrest. She spent a couple of stints in rehab. 2002, suspicion of drunk driving. And 2011, escorted off a stage during a speech for Secretary of Defense Robert Gates. She was slurring and she was incoherent, and they had to drag her off the stage. So she's battled alcohol for a long time, right?
Aw, that's sad.
Well, last Saturday, police responded to a domestic disturbance in Marina del Rey, California. She was arrested for assault with a deadly weapon, and her partner, James Morgan, who it's a little question of whether she's still married to this guy. But she filed for divorce, but they stayed together through all this time. And he was charged with he was arrested for battery. So I mean, this is the charge she got was assault likely to produce bodily harm. So she must have really got him good, probably with a knife or something.
I haven't heard her name in forever, so I quickly just Googled her. She's on Chicago Fire.
Yes.
So
yes.
She is working. It's not like, oh, I've hit hard times, I'm not working. So she didn't hit hard times, but she did hit her husband. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean they've had a lot of stuff. I mean, she had a restraining order on him at one point. And on him, and she has come out and said that she was abusive to him. So I'm guessing that they're not a good match for each other, but they can't stay away from each other. I mean, you ever been in a relationship like that?
I've seen a few.
Yeah, it's disturbing, and why they go through this. I mean, you would think somebody would just get away from people like this, and
it's called trauma bonding.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
And they're both bad.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
They're both bad. I mean, they're bad for each other.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't know. It's a disturbing case. But that's not the only one.
Uh-oh.
Not the only one. So Paul Schrader, director and screenwriter, he has been accused of reneging on a settlement.
Okay.
So apparently this guy made a settlement with his former assistant, who claims that he sexually assaulted and harassed her for 4 years, 2021 to 2024, so 3 years. And she finally had enough and basically sued him, I guess, and they settled out of court. Well, he has decided now that he is not going to pay her.
I'm sure the courts will find that very interesting.
Right. And why do I feel like now that there's a new president that he might know the new president and he may be doing this because maybe he might get a pardon?
Ooh.
You think he's going to follow the Tate brothers out?
I don't know. I'm just saying, anyway. It's kind of weird. All of a sudden now you don't want to pay her.
Yeah. That sounds very fishy.
It does. So he might know something. I don't know if he paid off somebody or whatever it may be. It sounds very fishy because these things never happen, right? You keep them quiet now because you're not paying. It's going to come out, and a lot of this stuff is coming out. I mean, stuff about what he's done to her in a hotel, and many, many other things, I'm sure. I can't wait to hear all the dirt on this one. This ought to be a good one, right?
You usually hear about somebody that maybe didn't pay because they couldn't, or so far we're waiting to hear from the lawyers and get our first payment and we never did. But I've never heard anybody announce it like that,
Yeah. So, I mean, it is 2025. And this was supposedly settled May, I believe, of 2024. So
1 year.
It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I have a feeling we're going to be hearing more about this in the coming weeks. I think so too.
This is a Harvey Weinstein thing, right? This is exactly what this is.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. More and more of the Me Too movement.
These creepy guys. I don't know. And you think you just think like
when Diddy gets out, I'll know that there's a problem.
Right?
Yeah.
Women are stronger than this. Why? Why do they put up with it? I don't understand it. I'm not a female, so I can't.
I'm a female, so I can tell you. Usually some sort of restitution, some sort of bribe, somebody telling you you won't get this or that if you don't comply, and things like who's going to believe you, which, to be honest with you, as a woman, a lot of that happens where women are to talk about what they've been through, and people say, well, what did you wait so long for? Like, if you went through something, you went through something. But it gets taken apart and, thrown back at you as, well, what did you do to deserve this? And how did you, all that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I probably just don't understand because I'm not on that side, right?
Right.
Well,
if it's
good,
employment or if it's employment oriented, it's definitely a power indifference. That's all. It's somebody's got more power over the other one occupationally.
I'm glad that Ron cannot understand it because he is the captain of this ship. And if anybody's going to go power mad and eventually abuse his employees, it's going to be him.
Yeah,
so,
I just don't do that. I look.
Well, it's a lot of work, isn't it?
Yeah, I've been involved in incidents that. Well, we'll just say. Look, I worked in retail.
Yeah,
and
he can't.
I was in the store. Right? I was preparing for an order. Like the weekly orders so we can get the stuff that we need. And I'm doing. I was standing by the candy, and I was doing the order for the candy, and there's a girl and her boyfriend at the counter, doing all the ringing up and stuff like that and getting ready to pay. And they were arguing. And I'm just listening, and I'm not writing at this point. And I'm listening to this conversation, and he was like, "Wait till we get home. I am gonna beat your ass."
Okay.
Just like that. Now, I know her from coming into the store every day.
Right.
And I've seen the bruises. And I had enough at that point. After this long argument I'm listening to, I turned around and I said, "You know something? If you hit her, I'm going to treat you like that." And I had enough.
Unfortunately,
and he's like, "Well, you need
DV,
to stay out of it," and blah, blah, blah.
He probably took
and
that out
needless
on
to
her.
say, I kicked him out of the store.
Yeah.
And I asked her if she was going to be okay. Do you need me to call somebody? Blah, blah, blah. The whole bit, right? So she's like, "Oh no, I'll call my mother and she'll come down." So I see her go over to the payphone. And at that time, yes, there were payphones. And I went over to check on her, and the guy came flying through the parking lot in his car and almost ran us over. He got out of the car, dragged her by the hair, started dragging her towards the car, and I just lost it. I lost it, and I pummeled him to the ground.
I'm glad you did that.
I held him down until the police came, and never heard from either of them again.
I hope it ended happily.
I hope so. I don't know. But this is the stuff. Like, I've done this several times because I don't like women getting abused, and I will say something. I don't care how big they are. Doesn't matter.
Unfortunately, your third story is no better.
Oh, no, it isn't any better because Russell Brand is just another one of those guys, right?
Yep.
49-year-old, after following an investigation, he has been charged with 1 count of rape, 1 count of indecent assault, 1 count of oral rape, and 2 counts of sexual assault by London's Metropolitan Police. He will appear in court on May 2nd. Now, at one point, I thought it was just one person.
Yeah.
Then I did a little more digging.
It never is.
It never is more than just one person, right?
Oh yeah.
It never is.
It never is one person.
And then it's always more.
Come out.
It's always more.
There are 4 women.
Yep.
And I'm glad I started looking into it to see more information. I didn't find much more, but I know it's 4 women.
Right.
And in 1999, a woman claimed she was raped in the Bournemouth area in UK, in London, I'm guessing. And then 2001, indecently assaulted a woman in Westminster area. And then in 2004 and 5, sexually assaulted in Westminster area. Again, a different woman. I don't know what the fourth person is claiming, but that is the beginning of that. And this is hot off the presses too. I think this is yesterday.
This will get worse. Yep.
Well, we'll come out of the woodwork. Uplifting Saturday show, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's not going to get any better.
Good one.
Let's just say Katy Perry has had some not good boyfriends. Let's just say that.
Well,
but she's glad. It's good. I'm glad she got away from him because, that's crazy.
These things do need to be brought to light, and people need to be brought to justice.
Right. And Katy Perry didn't come out and put it all out there. I really wish.
But he treated her. He treated her not good. That was basically part of the reason why she divorced him, because I believe they got married.
Yeah.
Now this is just
they were
my
married,
coffee brain.
I think it was only lasted 2 years or something like that.
Yeah.
If that.
Yeah. So
I hope that everyone takes this information in and does what they want. Becky is chiming in that Russell Brand is
Becky,
still very
does
popular.
Depend on the crowd. And
depends on the crowd.
We'll leave it at that.
When's the last time you heard from Russell Brand? I mean, that's got to be a while. I can't think of a project that he's done in a while.
He's been on a lot of political talk shows, and we won't go down that road, but that's where I've seen him recently. That's all I'm going to say.
As Becky's saying, we forget they're just humans.
Right.
And, humans are weak. Oh. I went to high school with a girl who stabbed her boyfriend in the head and neck multiple times. Jesus. I believe he died. She went to jail because
I think
this
she
is
said
Canada.
I don't believe he did.
She was out fast. Now she's a streetwalker drug addict. So, wow,
that didn't help.
This story has just exploded.
Oh yeah. Yep, it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse.
I was gonna say we're gonna move on to something happier, but
no, we're not.
Today is April 5th, and there's a death anniversary upon us.
There's a death anniversary, and it's a big one. I mean, anybody who is Gen X knows this is the big day. And Kurt Loder that day got on MTV, because this is how long ago it was, and let us know that they had found Kurt Cobain's body. That was a very big one. That's 31 years ago. So that was 1994. And I mean, it was very similar to John Lennon. It was a very big deal for a lot of kids at that time.
Yeah, this was big.
So there were concerns supposedly that people were going to copycat suicide, which I thought that was interesting, because that was a concern that I'm not sure where that, I don't know, that didn't seem to be anything that turned out to be a thing. Also, if you're like me, you may not think it was a suicide.
I don't
we'll
think
never
so
know.
Either.
We'll never know.
I've never even heard a hint of conspiracy about that.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay. So in 2015, there was a documentary put out called Soaked in Bleach. I recommend you go watch it. Let me see who did this documentary. Hold on a second here. It was basically a private investigator that got involved with it because of the way that he died. I mean, Becky
has her
Courtney Love did it, and there is some speculation of first of all, Courtney Love having a history of stuff that even some friends of mine know her personally and can tell you some stuff that she did. She did put a girl in the hospital. Her own father threw her under the bus and said that she did. Her own father.
Crazy, so yeah.
Now that's dysfunctional family stuff, maybe. But she called a private investigator to find Kurt, and he was found like 4 days later in his own house. And several people came and went that were in that little group of hers in that house. And so there's just way too much crime scene contamination going on there, where too many people came and went before he was found. Supposedly there was a divorce in the works, and she would have definitely fared way worse had that happened. Being that he died, she fared way better. Let's just put it that way. that's supposedly from some people that were around her or around them as a couple, their babysitter for one thing. So anyway, when you get a chance to see that,
no, I wrote it down. I'm definitely gonna watch that.
Yeah, but anyway, they did reopen the investigation at that time, and I guess the police in Washington at that time just didn't want to. But there's forensic evidence. I mean, this was a 12-gauge shotgun. I mean, how do you do that? And he was so hyped up on heroin that they didn't think he would have been able to stand up straight, let alone do all of that. So anyway, that was a really terrible death. It was a bummer. So he was 27.
It was massive. I mean, this is
it was.
I mean,
it was a candlelight vigil type thing.
You compared it right to John Lennon because at that time, John Lennon was obviously huge, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And
1980.
Kurt Cobain was in that same situation. I mean,
Absolutely.
he was at the peak of his career at that
point. And he hated it.
It was exploding.
Right. And I kind of believe the music neo-metal backlash that happened, or I call it a backlash, after he died was like a direct result of his death because so many kids followed him and worshipped him that they were disillusioned by his death. Much like a historical figure to them. That's how.
I mean, we've seen it over and over. I mean, you'd go before John Lennon. I mean, you go before that, it's still there. Elvis, right? You know, the way he died, skeptical. People are still skeptical about it, right?
Right.
So, I mean, there's a long list of these big time stars that have shady deaths. And
yes. Yep. And so,
well, then of course you have the 27
that rolls us over
club
into
also.
the 27 Club.
Yeah,
right. And it's multiple celebrity deaths, mostly musicians, but not all.
Right.
That died at 27 years old. So that's a thing out there. I don't know if anybody's ever looked into it.
Oh, I've seen that.
Yeah, there's several. I mean, I think Rolling Stone did a whole spread on it at one time. So the big ones would be like Brian Jones, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison, of course, Kurt Cobain. I believe Amy Winehouse was probably one of the last ones.
That's the last ones, yeah.
Robert Johnson was one of them. He's that's an older an artist, but and then even Jim Morrison's girlfriend Pam, 2 or 3 years later at 27, she went. So there's some people that
I mean,
she was 27 as well. Yeah,
I'm gonna throw it out there.
Yes.
And we'll see what sticks, right?
I'm afraid.
Okay.
Could this be a sell your soul to the devil kind of thing?
Like the Kennedys?
No, I'm just saying.
Oh, sorry.
Did they make a deal with the devil?
21 to 27 and then die? Is that kind of a...
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe. I know there's so much... people love a good drama. People love a good
they do.
Conspiracy.
I know I do.
Well, we look for meaning in anything. I mean, they're gone, so we have to try to find something. Right. Becky saying Jim Morrison wasn't just straight OD, it was suspicious. I think everything involved with Jim Morrison is he wanted us to just be confused. That was his whole thing. I love the Doors, but that man, wow.
So I love Jim Morrison.
Look at him.
A little before my time, because I think I was like 3 years old when he died. However, I always thought that he was a whole lot more, a lot deeper, I guess, for the world than like anybody else wanted to take him. And so I think he was trying to get his message out there somehow. And I believe that actually Kurt Cobain and Jim Morrison are similar in that they liked the stardom, but they hated the media. They hated the picture that they were being presented to the world. Kurt Cobain said several times, Bob Dylan actually did this too, but he's not dead. Kurt Cobain said several times to people in the media that they needed to take their own message, that the people listening to the music needed to listen to it and take their own value from it. And so when somebody would say, well, what do you think? What do you think? You changed the face of it. And he'd just be like, that's dumb. I didn't change the face of anything. Stop. He would argue back several times. And I saw Jim Morrison. I think he had a little bit of a different approach on it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's I think why he went to film school. That's why he was into poetry. I think he was trying to convey something that the general public just didn't. They were just too busy with the stardom thing. Even with them trying to get him away from the band at one point and just make him this like rock god and throw him on cover. Like he couldn't stand that stuff. That drove him crazy. I think it did. Anyway, I could be wrong.
Well,
He was
they seem to have like this charisma that just people are drawn to.
True.
And when you become bigger than life itself,
right,
then there's more attention on you.
then like what is it at that point, right? To you as the artist, you're just kind of like Amy Winehouse was the sad one for me because I think her family just ran her into the ground. I don't know what else to say. I think she was very talented. I know that she had drug issues and whatnot. I don't think her boyfriend at the time was helpful, but I really think at one point she just didn't think anybody was there for her, including her father. Because towards the end, her father was trying to it's the money train. It's the money train.
It is.
For a lot of celebrities and stars, it's the money train. The family either becomes managers or they become employees. And if you're not making money, then who cares? So they're just trying to make sure you make every dime. And so I think that's what happened to her. But anyway, so moving on.
So far, we've talked about nothing but celebrity and problems.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Are there very many celebrities without problems? I think we all have problems.
More money, more problems. So now I'm going to move on. Tomorrow is a special day, and I thought I would piggyback onto the death anniversary. Tomorrow is Epitaph Day. An epitaph is something that you write on your tombstone if you're going to have that. And I know it's a little morbid, but it's better that you come up with what you would like on your tombstone rather than waiting and maybe a grieving relative has to do it for you. So I want you to think about what you would like written. And we're not talking about, beloved wife, husband, daughter, son, that kind of thing. That's going to be there no matter what. And I'm going to give you some examples of some famous ones. Jim Morrison, who we just spoke about, on his, it says, true to your own spirit. So that sounds good. Hugo saying left eye. Now, left eye I know is gone, but is she the one who set the fires? Left Eye Lopez? She was the one. Okay. William Shakespeare had an interesting one on his. It said, you will be cursed if you move my bones. So I don't know why. Did they think there would be grave robbers? He's warning people right away. Dee Dee Ramone from the Ramones just put, and I think this is perfect. I gotta go.
That's all.
When you gotta go, you gotta go. Frank Sinatra wrote, the best is yet to come.
That sounds like him.
He knew something we didn't.
Yeah, sounds like him.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, I'm free at last.
I'm going to give his wife credit for that one, I think. Yeah.
Mel Blanc, of course, who did all the voices of all the cartoon characters. Just put, that's all, folks.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I like that.
That's awesome.
Edgar Allan Poe wrote, quoth the Raven, nevermore, which was obviously his thing. This is my favorite. If you know the actor Jack Lemmon, who was famous a long time ago, it says Jack Lemmon, and then it says in. So he's in the ground. This is his starring part. Jack Lemmon.
No, it could be in heaven.
It could be in heaven. It could be anything. Rodney Dangerfield just wrote, there goes the neighborhood. Kind of like that one. And Rick James wrote, I've had it all. I've done it all. I've seen it all. It's all about love. God is love. So now we've heard what other people have said, giving you a few minutes. Lena, what do you think you would put on yours?
I think I would leave a list. I would say I'd show people where there's a list of things that I didn't get done. Tell them to go get it and do it. That's
Put
me.
On a
I'm
treasure
always
hunt.
yeah. That would be cool. Like a Pokemon thing.
I like that. Ron, what are you doing?
Oh, I'm leaving a top 5.
Oh, no.
I'm leaving a top 5.
All right.
I want to be with the top 5 people in the afterlife. We're going to be with Prince. We're going to be with John Lennon. We're going to be with Val Kilmer.
That's 3.
And then I don't know the other 2, but I'd come up with it. But there would be a top 5 on that tombstone.
See, Lena, you're gonna find out. Ron does the top 5, and it's the most entertaining and the most frustrating part of the show. But we'll get to that later.
That's all right.
Look, Kenny's already booing my top 5. How?
Kenny knows.
Oh my goodness.
I think for me,
good stuff though.
No, Kenny, Ludacris isn't dead, so I can't put him on there.
No Luda. Let's not
rush him. Afterlife. Top 5 Afterlife.
Becky says you're going to put number 1 Ludacris for your top 5.
Oh, Freddie Mercury. Thank you, Becky.
Yes,
Thank you, Freddie Mercury. Absolutely. Absolutely.
How about Bowie?
Freddie Mercury. That's a good one.
And maybe George Harrison, because I want to get the real reason.
Oh, okay.
I'd love to see that. Top 5 people I hope to meet in heaven. I'm just going to put see you on the other side and put an arrow on the other side so people will keep turning.
I have to bump 2 of those. I have to bump 2 of them because I have to obviously put my mom and dad on that list.
Aww. Well, that's assuming that you're going to see
that's a whole nother
anyway,
list,
right? I mean, let's just leave family.
Probably already hanging out with Elvis.
Wouldn't that be? But think about it. We all do that. I'm like, this is who I want to see when I go to heaven. Don't you think those people are still stars in heaven, and it's like impossible to get to see them?
What's that song about a bunch of musicians?
Because then it wouldn't be heaven.
Yeah, I forget what it is, but it's like
wouldn't be heaven if you don't get to see them.
Wait, there's a song?
It's an old song. I'm a DJ, so I have these little weird songs in my head. And it's something if it's something heaven, and it's gotta be a rock and roll band. I forget. It's an old tune from the 70s, and I can't remember it right. And it just came into my head. So I will find it, and maybe I'll list it, or I'll throw it in the comments later. But
throw it up in the chat room. I wanna hear the song.
Yeah, it was one of those old 70s bands. Never mind. We'll be here all day trying to make my brain work. It's still kind of early.
BTO has a new song out. I gotta check it out. I heard they have a new song.
Who? They're still around?
Yeah. Apparently they got a new song.
Sorry. Kenny wants Tupac, but what if he's not in heaven yet?
Yeah, he might not be there, Kenny.
And Hugo wants to meet Biggie, so maybe they squashed everything up in heaven. So we'll find out.
Can we flip those? Can we swap those out for Diddy? Can we send him and get those 2 back?
Wait. You think Diddy's going to heaven? Hold on a minute.
No, I don't. You're right. That's true.
Oh, sorry, I got a dog barking downstairs.
Okay.
Gotta play fiddle in a band. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
So now we're gonna go from heaven to a little bit of hell on earth. And Lena, you got a story about Dave Carroll.
I do. So Dave Carroll is he's a Canadian musician. Maybe Becky knows him. Sons of Maxwell is the band, and Maxwell, of course, is a dedication to their dad. But anyway, Dave Carroll, he had a little bit of a story with United Airlines, which I love. So he's flying around. This is like 2008 or so, and he's flying around with his band members. He's on a plane, and somebody that he knows or somebody across from him says, "Hey, are those your guitars?" And he looks out the window, and there's like what you would call throwers, guys that are loading in luggage, tossing his guitar. Did quite a bit of damage to his guitar. And then it was really damaged when he got to Chicago and he realized what was going on. And so he learned that the United Airlines policy was that they didn't have any musical instrument liability for whatever reason. So he tried for 9 months to get compensation, and he tried to work with them and say, hey, listen, there was a lot of damage done. I believe it was thousands of dollars. This was something like a $30,000 guitar or something like that. They didn't basically want to be bothered with it. They ran him in circles and wouldn't give him any information. I believe the guitar manufacturer actually gave him 2 because they saw how much frustration he was going through with this. And in 2009, he decided he would just make a song about United Airlines. And the song was called United Breaks Guitars.
Yep.
So this song went really viral and cost United Airlines a lot of money and stock loss and all that kind of stuff. I think they had, let me just double check the money.
I think it was a 10% loss in stock loss.
Yeah. And so they, I mean, at the end of the day, I believe they had a settlement, and I want to say, and of course I had it in front of me and now I can't find it. I think it was something like $31 million in a settlement that they had to eventually pay out. So basically it's kind of like, if you're a company that, and I get it if it's not your policy, but what's wrong with working with somebody and saying, okay, this is an exceptional thing where, maybe we should just cut our losses on this and take care of it. If somebody's trying for, that many months to get somebody to just respond, even to say, hey, we understand, here's anything. I don't know, maybe not vouchers to fly, but anything. Hey, can you give us the bill? Can you fix the guitar and send us the bill? Or can you replace the guitar and send us the bill? How much money they would have saved had they just paid attention to that.
Well, I know a little bit about the story, and it was somebody would have taken $1,200 to fix the guitar. So for $1,200, they could have settled this, like you said. But everybody's like insurance company. They are taught to say no, no, until they get to a point where they go, okay, now we have to offer something.
But usually it requires, excuse me, I'm still waking up. It requires either the media being brought in, and it requires exposure to some degree to a company where now they'll lose money over it, or they're going to lose their Yelp, reviews or whatever the case may be. It's going to damage their reputation. And to me, there's some companies out there that I think go the extra mile from the beginning, and they should. And United Airlines was a big company. Like, that's ridiculous.
Wait, can you name any of them?
I could think of Chewy. This is a company that if you have animals.
Yep.
Everybody I know that has Chewy delivers things to their house for their dogs or cats.
Yeah.
Chewy's like one of those that they'll go out of their way. If your animal dies, they'll send you cards, and there's just all kinds of little personal effects that they do. So most people that are Chewy subscribers or our Chewy customers are over the moon about them, because they just do these little things to make sure that people know that they care and they're not just a number. That's the one company I can think of off the top of my head that I know does that. And something like that is,
you would think that more companies would do this, especially now when things are just out of control.
Right.
And you do that and you have loyal customers forever.
Right. That's the thing. I mean, if it costs you a little bit of money, I mean, I hate to, you go on and on about the good old days, right?
Well,
we all do. Years ago, some of that personal service, I think that's how Circuit City went under, isn't it?
If you wouldn't mind, and I wasn't going to bring this up at all until this was now brought up about companies and responsibilities.
Right.
But just last week, I've gotten a new job, and it is closer, so I take the bus. Okay, I have 2 buses to take. It is connection to connection. I got off the first bus, and unfortunately, I missed the next bus. But I'm in front of a Starbucks. I'm going to go inside. I got to wait 20 minutes. There's no one in the Starbucks except one other person. I place an order for a hot tea. Yes, I'm not a coffee drinker. Sorry. So place my order.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, it goes good in that mug. Remember, go to Patreon. Help us out.
Lots of coffee here. I'm making up for the 2 of them.
There you go. I order it, and I wait, and I wait, and wait. And I asked them if they forgot about me, and they said, no, don't worry. And 20 minutes later, I see the bus come, I still don't have my drink. I paid for it, and I left. So I said, for the first time in my life, first time ever, I'm on the bus. I went, I'm going to write to Starbucks. There is a complaint department. So I wrote to them and I just said, hey, anything about getting my money back? And they wrote back to me. I just got a response. It took 3 days for them to say, oh, sorry, no, we don't do that.
Yeah.
That was it.
Now, they should have, because they've been under some scrutiny. They have, because Starbucks has had some problems. They should really be stepping up right now.
So what were we talking about earlier when we were talking about celebrities? You get to a certain level, and it's, I'm not going to help anyone below me because I don't need to. Well, it's now the same with corporations.
All right. So everybody out there,
don't need you.
Look, don't go to Starbucks for the rest of the month. For the rest of the month, do not go to Starbucks. Go to Dunkin', Honeydew, Timmy's.
Timmy Hose.
Go to the other places.
Wherever you go.
Ban Starbucks for the rest of the month.
Support the show by banning Starbucks for a month.
I drink coffee. I'm off my counter and off of a coffee pot, so that's easy for me.
There you go.
Done.
I love it.
That's right. Enjoy some Maxwell House.
So look at that.
Folgers.
So companies, we're doing a grassroots campaign right now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I think it's about time. Finally, we have something a little more uplifting on the show.
Cumberland Farms.
Hugo's telling us Cumbies. I'm guessing that's the one near him. Coffee place by him.
Well, that's Cumberland Farms, yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, lady.
It's Cumberland Farms. It's a Rhode Island thing.
Hey, let's go for it. Go there, not Starbucks.
Yeah.
Okay. Entertainment Weekly has been putting out some interesting lists, and I found one that I thought I would like to bring here, and it is about cartoons and animation. Oh, look at that. He's got Lady and the Tramp up. And they made a list of the top 14. It's a weird number, but the top 14 romantic couples in animation in TV. So I love that you have Lady and the Tramp, but it's for TV. Look at him. Ron's already depressed because he loves animation. He does. So some of these are going to be pretty easy, but I think some of them might require some clues.
Flintstone's got to be up there.
Ladies and gentlemen, he hit the number one right away. Fred and Wilma Flintstone are number one on the list.
I knew this was going to be a game.
Of course. Well, everything I do is a game. So, Lena, what do you think? Take a shot.
Let's see.
A lot of it is on current TV, but some of it is older classic stuff.
I know. I'm trying to remember. Let's see. For animation.
Look at Ron. He's like jumping at the bit.
I know. I'm gonna have to let Ron go. Honestly, I can't think of anything.
Okay, Ron.
Jetsons. Simpsons.
Well, name the characters.
Oh, well, Marge and Homer.
Bingo. Marge and Homer are number 4.
Oh, what's your name? Is it Jill Jetson?
Jane Jetson.
Jane Jetson, yeah.
George and Jane are number 2. Homer and Marge are number 4. Let's see. I'm going to go back. I want to see, like you said before, Gen X in the house.
Oh, wait. Yogi and what's her name? I can't think of her name in the cartoon. Yogi Bear and
Yogi and Boo Boo?
His girlfriend. No, not Boo Boo.
I know this. Cindy
Bear, yes.
Did not make the list.
I'm thinking of the Smurfs. Smurfette.
We were actually thinking of that before.
Yeah.
But no, the Smurfs are not on the list.
Wow.
You're dancing around. It's still current. You think of The Simpsons. You think of of that ilk. But there's a lot going on right now.
What about the Family Guy? How's that?
Family Guy.
Okay, who do we got?
I have to remember though. I
can't remember anybody on the show right now. I literally went blank.
Except Stewie. That he doesn't help. He doesn't help, but he's cute.
And Brian.
So. No, I will give you
Stewie and Brian.
It's Lois and Peter Griffin.
Yes.
Okay. See.
And they're from your area. They're from Rhode
They
Island.
are.
Come on.
I know.
They are
Shame.
number 8.
Sorry, Seth. Sorry.
Okay, we're going to go back. Number 14. Let's see if you watched this when you were a kid. Did anybody watch Kim Possible on Disney?
No. I was not a kid when that came out.
Okay, yeah, my
Me
kid
neither.
was, so I know all this. Kim Possible and Ron Stoppable.
There
are a few here I'm going to have to help you with. Oh, I'm sorry, Ron. Go ahead.
No, that I was going to say, I would remember that, if I watched it at all, but I do know the character.
There you go. This one I didn't know, but I've heard of the show. I think it's on Adult Swim. BoJack Horseman is the name of the show. Oh, you're both saying yes.
I don't know it.
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
Okay, so there was a character named Diane Gwynn and Mr. Peanut Butter, who was a man with a horse's head. So that, for some reason, made it over others.
Did Archer?
I don't know how.
Archer is always brought up, but no, it's not on the list. Who can give me the pairing from Bob's Burgers?
Bob's Burgers. I don't know. I don't.
It's in the comments.
Wow.
It's in the comments.
Bob and Linda Belcher.
It's in the comments. Somebody
where's
commented.
the comments? Come on. Ross and Rachel from Photography. Oh, I don't know that one. Ross and Rachel,
friends.
but not from.
Oh, Mickey and Minnie. Yeah, Hugo.
That's the one I was waiting for. Mickey and Minnie should have made the list. Didn't make the list.
But they were movies. What? They weren't really TV, were they?
I think about that because they did have the Wonderful World of Disney where they would show cartoons. Right. So maybe that's it. Hugo saying Shrek and Fiona, but those are movies, not TV. Number 11, I didn't even know this was a cartoon. I knew it was a movie. Scott Pilgrim and Ramona Flowers from Scott Pilgrim. I love the movie. If you haven't seen the movie's great. See, this is the problem. I have to work with you guys to find out where your level is. Okay. Did anybody watch Futurama?
No.
Oh wow. And Ron, you are an animation guy.
I don't like the new crap.
Okay. Leela and Fry from Futurama. This one was an old one from She-Ra and the Princess of Power. I've never even heard of these people.
I have.
Dora and Catra.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, now we're going to get into some of the ones you know, at least. You already said Lois and Peter Griffin from Family Guy. You forgot Hank and Peggy Hill from King of the Hill.
Oh, King of the Hill, yeah.
Becky's chiming in with Leela and Bender. Try Leela and Fry. There we go. She got it right. Leela and Fry was number 10. Here's an interesting three-way one. And you had to have watched the X-Men cartoon from the 90s.
Wow.
Nope. Ron, not even at all.
Did you say superhero 90s? Stuff?
X-Men? I wasn't a Marvel fan. I
wasn't a Marvel or a DC fan. Nothing.
Well, if you know the comic book lore, you know there was a three-way triangle, I should say, between Cyclops, Jean Grey, and Wolverine. Wolverine was in love with Jean Grey. Cyclops was in love with Jean Grey, and she had to decide.
I don't even know who she is. I've never heard of her.
And now we get into one that shows you how progressive we've become, because there is a new one out, and we all know Harley Quinn. You know the character.
Oh, and the Joker.
Right? Well, there is a cartoon of Harley Quinn, and she is involved with Poison Ivy, who is another female character on the show.
See, it's even hit cartoons that they force things down people's throats. Why can't you just have a story without there having to be a romantic angle?
Well, every story has
I'm all for the non-romantic angle with any story, because that's just garbage to me, but that's okay.
Oh, I like that. Becky says, she has a relative named Jean Grey. Now, 4 was Homer and Marge. I'm going to skip 3 for a second. 2 you got, George and Jane Jetson. And number 1 was Fred and Wilma. Number 3 I have a problem with. Because number 3, if this is a romantic relationship, which is what this couple is, I want your opinion
Ernie
on this.
and Bert.
Because it's wrong. What was that?
Cartoons.
Everyone says Bert and Ernie. Everybody.
Yeah, but they're not cartoons.
It is.
Oh,
there
yeah,
you
that's
go.
right.
But remember, this is a romantic relationship. They have stated that in the front.
Wait a minute. Wait. Is it Scooby and Shaggy?
He hit it!
That's so weird.
Which, by the way, bestiality should not be on the list anywhere.
That's weird. Can we talk to these people that did this?
Oh my god!
Not only is it super weird that they did it, it's number 3 on the list.
I think somebody messed up there. I really do. I think
somebody would,
unless they're asking like 2-year-olds that don't know any better or something, but that's weird. Yeah.
Romantic
Something
with
happened.
a dog, yes, Becky. That's what they're saying.
There were like 2 girls on in that cartoon. Like they just didn't matter. Is that the case? They should have paired him up with his band. It should have been Shaggy and his band.
Who is it?
I think the
Fred and Daphne. They could have gone that way.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I think Shaggy and his van
they
would
were
have
in
been
the
perfect.
back of that van.
Yep, Shaggy in the van. That's my guess. That's my vote.
Well, I mean, let's face it. We've all done creative things, and we are doing creative things. You know how a lot of this stuff comes out with you're just sitting around, it's late, and things come out of your mouth, and everyone goes, "That's funny. Put it in."
Maybe. Could be.
It's the only thing I can think of. The way that they're saying, you know what, bestiality. It sounds fine. Let's do that.
Oh,
but that
come on,
ends,
Hugo. Enough with crypto.
He said, "Oh God, did you put down crypto?"
Kal-El and crypto.
Oh, Lois Lane and crypto.
No,
people,
Kal-El.
stop coming up with dog combinations. This is just rough already. Kal-El.
Oh, it's just rough. Oh.
Okay. Well, we're going to jump out of the frying pan and into the fire because it's time for everyone's favorite controversial game. Ron, take it away with your top 5.
I sense some hesitation in your tone there, Ira.
I love them. I do. Okay. Oh, okay. This isn't so bad.
So today is Colin Powell's birthday.
Happy birthday.
So I thought it would be pretty cool to do a top 5 of fictional military ranked officers. So salute to them, right? These are the characters that everybody loves. So right off the top, we cannot include Colonel Sanders.
Aww.
Not fictional, real. And that leaves off Patton. So even though there was a movie about him, gotta leave him off the list. So there are tons of them. Let me tell you, this was so difficult to do. And when you hear the list of people, you'll understand that this is not going to be an easy thing, and there's going to be people left out.
Like, I already have my number 1.
Colonel Robert Hogan, not on the list from Hogan's
Heroes.
Also, that means Colonel Klink didn't make my list.
Okay.
So, look, there's so many. Ensign Zach Mayo from An Officer and a Gentleman.
Okay.
Love the movie. Mayonnaise, exactly.
Love that movie.
I love it. So Colonel Nathan Jessup.
That's the first person I thought of.
Right? He didn't make the list.
But you want him on that wall.
Major Nelson. I Dream of Jeannie. Colonel Sarah McKenzie from JAG. Sergeant Major Jonas Blaine from the unit. Remember the original insurance guy?
Yes.
Nope.
I think it was the Rock, whatever the insurance that we used to say that. Captain Catherine Janeway from Star Trek Voyager.
Ooh, yes.
Didn't make the list. Colonel Potter from MASH, the TV show.
Wow.
Hawkeye did not make my list. Captain Hawkeye from MASH. Lieutenant Colonel Hannibal Smith from A-Team did not make my list.
Okay.
These are classics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chief Petty Officer Casey Ryback from Under Siege.
Okay, don't remember
Did
that
not
one.
make my list. And the one that's going to piss some people off, Jean-Luc Picard did not make my list.
He would have been on my top 5.
I know he would have, but I'm a purist. We'll just say that. The man way down over there. Way down on the other side of the screen. All right. Honorable mentions. These guys made the honorable mentions. Major Jack Reacher from the TV show, not the Tom Cruise movie.
Okay.
The TV show with Alan Ritchson. Fantastic. Love the series. Great series. I just finished it all recently. Lieutenant Ellen Ripley. Alien.
That's my girl right there. That is my idol.
Right?
Yep.
She made this list. That was, believe me, I thought she was going to actually be higher. And then I started looking at the list and I'm like, oh boy, this is going to be a problem.
So she's on my list.
Gunnery Sergeant Emil Foley. That is Louis Gossett Jr.
Yes, it is.
in An Officer and a Gentleman.
Okay.
Oh my God, I loved him in that movie.
I'm here for
Rest
it.
in peace, Louis Gossett Jr. Sergeant Adrian Cronauer. Good Morning Vietnam.
My favorite.
Love it, right? Now you understand why I had to leave some people off, right?
Of course.
Captain Virgil Hiltz from Great Escape, Steve McQueen.
Okay.
He's Mr. Cool. I had to put him in there. Had to. Goes back a little ways, but that's too bad. All right, number 5. And look, I know people are going to expect that some people should be ahead of these people, but I don't care. I don't care. These are my favorites. His Becky's husband is obsessed with Jean-Luc Picard, and he is furious. I get it. I'm sorry, but not sorry. Number 5, Captain Steve Rogers from the Avengers and Captain America. Look, Chris Evans, that was the absolute perfect casting. Even though I'm still upset they took him away from Johnny.
That made the list, yes.
Yes. Number 4, Captain John Miller, Tom Hanks in Saving Private Ryan. That's my favorite war movie. Love that movie so much. Love that movie. I thought it was just a great, great movie.
Great movie. And no, First X.
Yeah. Well, I'm not surprised that you do that.
Of course.
That vaulted him up because I knew you were going to do that. Number 3, Lieutenant Dan Taylor, Forrest Gump, Gary Sinise. Absolutely love that movie.
I'll give you that.
Oh my God, Gary Sinise is just brilliant. He's brilliant. I love him as an actor. Probably my favorite CSI show too, with Gary Sinise. And then of course The Stand, one of my favorites all time. Falcon America. No, not Falcon America. The actual Captain America. And that leaves my top 2, which is no doubt the 2 gentlemen in the corner of the screen. Number 2 is actually Captain James T. Kirk. Yes.
Okay. Hold my tongue for now.
William Shatner, of course, legendary. But I love Jack O'Neill's, Colonel Jack O'Neill's sarcasm. And I just, he's MacGyver too. I mean, come on. So I went with Richard Dean Anderson with Colonel Jack O'Neill from Stargate SG-1. I missed that show. I wish they were still going. I could have watched it for 30 years. 30 years.
Okay,
I still watch them.
Do you want some of the ones you left off? Because I want to see what you would say.
Yes, because there's a very big possibility that I forgot people.
Okay,
so,
Captain Crunch.
That's good. He would have definitely made my list. Definitely would have. He probably would have been in my top 5.
Oh,
to
see?
be honest.
Look at that.
That's a good one.
Sergeant Fury, if you're a comic book fan.
No. Nope.
Okay,
nope. He wouldn't have made my list. It's a good one, though. It is a good one.
Captain Hook.
Ooh.
Peter Pan, come on. You love those movies.
Good. That's good.
Captain Jack Sparrow.
No. Not a Johnny Depp fan. Not a Johnny Depp fan.
Wow. What?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we can go back to some of the things he may have done.
Truth be told, I've only seen 1.5 of those movies.
And Captain Carol Danvers, Miss Marvel.
Captain who?
Carol Danvers.
From
You're
what?
not a Marvel fan at all? Miss Marvel.
Yeah, I know.
No. And according to Becky, thank you.
Yes.
Sergeant Slaughter.
Sergeant Slaughter. That's a good one, Becky. That's a good one.
So, okay. That's Ron's top 5.
Captain Crunch definitely would have been in there, though.
This one, I give you, this one was a good list. Not a lot of complaints on it. But trust me, Lena, he's going to come up with stuff where you're just going to shake your head. You really are.
Maybe he won't rattle me.
Oh, no. Trust me. He will.
Look, I think that's a great list. I mean, there are so many of them. I mean, when you're talking Platoon, Top Gun, I don't even have Iceman on that list.
Lieutenant Pete Mitchell. Yeah, Maverick.
Yeah.
You missed Maverick on Ice. And
no. Tom Cruise is not going to be in there.
Oh, my God.
I'll agree with that. I'm good with that.
Overrated.
Not the Messiah. Not the Messiah.
I'm sorry. Where's the disrespect coming from? I'm not seeing anything from our buddy.
I think I killed Kenny because I think he was mad when I said Picard wasn't in there.
Oh,
so
that could be it. Okay, well, we hope you enjoyed the show. And Lena, it was an absolute pleasure meeting you.
And it was great to be here.
And I want to work with you again. Why don't you give out again a plug for your other podcast?
Okay. So my other podcast is Love and Life with Lena and Dave, which is just a quick, logical approach to social issues or social what have you. It's www.lenaanddave.com. And that's LANA. So you know how to spell it. See that?
Okay.
Right
you can
there.
also see me on another podcast, which is the Circling the Drain podcast. You can look that up anywhere on social media. If you want to just laugh and forget about your problems, that's what you do. You go there. Ron, why don't you plug all the other shows that you have on the Rhode Island Broadcasting Network?
Oh, that could take a while, but we'll just hit the main ones. Sports Unfolded every Friday night, live at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And, of course, Falls Count Anywhere on Wednesday evenings at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then me and Kenny do the NBA show probably every other week, or so. And that's generally on a Tuesday at noontime. So look for those as well.
So if you enjoyed us here, you're going to enjoy us on our other projects. So please give us a look. Thank you for being with us today. The next show is going to be on Monday, where it's going to be Captain Ron, and he's going to be on with Martin. We all love that because you always learn something when Martin's on.
Oh, my God. I've learned so much from him. It's ridiculous.
He sends you down a rabbit hole with some of this stuff that he knows, but it's great. Make it a great day. And when you need some fun, join us because we have it going on daily. Bye,
Have a great day.